next is, of course, the Rotax 177. And let's have a quick look at the grid for that one. Hopefully, we have got all 7 karts. We missed 2 for the start earlier on, and then we lost 2 midway through the race. So we only had the 3 karts to finish that one. But starting on pole position for the final, Matthew Easton, the privateer in the 95. Joined alongside him is Ben Davis for Dan Holland Racing. And Colin Davis and Oliver Appleby there on row 2. Chris Thomas and Louis Large in the row 3. Rounding out the grid, 7 karts, Henry Ayres there. So hopefully we get all 7 drivers. But we've got apparently multiple reports of rain, and I'm looking out the window, and yes, I can confirm it is raining out the back window. As you can see, probably the mechanics on the roof there. There's probably scrambling, so that probably means that there may be a slight delay then to the start of the next race if the teams think that they're going to want to change to the wet tyres. Apparently no delay. So you can see there in the pit lane what's happening. So the 34, is that the 84? The 34, Oliver Appleby. He's sticking on the slicks. So not changing. And there's another kart there, the 95. Matthew Easton. He's decided to stick to the slicks as well. It looks like the 29 there as well. Henry Ayres, he's sticking with the slick tyres. But you can see there from that camera, the rain definitely coming down. So depending on how quick the track gets wet, I think maybe the wets are going to be the way forward. I think they're having a quick chinwag discussion down there about what's going to happen, or what the decision is. You can see the rest of the karts there on the dollies. I think they've just come back from changing to the wets. We'll confirm that when they get a bit closer. No, I see slicks. Yep, slicks all around. So maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just I prefer wets on a slightly damp track, but maybe everyone else prefers dry. Maybe I'm just clearly not skilled enough to do it on slicks, and I would expect wets. Be like, no, put the wets on. No, you're going out on slicks. But we'll see what happens as the rest of the karts getting lined up. The 71, Colin Davis. Oh, no, that was a quick... they have been given 5 minutes to change to wets if they want to. And they were told midway through dropping that kart on the floor and thought, right, okay, no, back on it goes. Let's swap it over. As you can see then, they're now getting those tyres out. So, yes. Interesting one. How did you not spot this rain? You were just in this a second ago. You didn't spot any rain, Kai?
No, there wasn't any rain. I'm telling you, there was no rain when I was down on the grid.
Evidently not.
There wasn't when I was there. Can't blame this on me.
Oh, dear. There you go. The wets going on the 71. Yep. So, the chat, of course, this being one of the Rotax rounds, we spoke to some of the other Rotax drivers. Here's what we got. The karting pathway, apparently, in my ear.
Yeah, the UK karting for me is one of the best. I mean, you've got quality drivers all round.
Yeah, there's a lot of competition, so I've got to make sure I'm focused for this race and all the races for the season.
British Championship's really one of the hardest I've ever raced in. For anyone, it really is a good learning experience, and although it's a bit emotional sometimes, it's good for the driver.
Cracking stuff there from some of the videos that we've got. So as you can see, the karts now have all changed to the wet tyres for the Rotax 177 grid. Obviously a slight delay to the start, but not by much, so only 3 minutes past the hour. And you can see everyone's scrambling there to get everything ready. But do keep your comments coming in on the stream. And Anthony there saying, what time is the senior Rotax final? The senior Rotax final is due to go out at past. It may be slightly delayed because obviously this one is, but it's due to go out at 4:30. So
it'll be straight after this.
Yeah, straight after this one. But as you can see, sensitive, just fragile movement there, jostling positions there at the car, not smacking it at all. No, just gentle calibration techniques. Yeah, gentle calibration techniques there to make sure everything's properly lined up.
Yeah,
Where's the hammer? There we go. That will sort that out.
Who needs a hammer when you can just shove it with your hand?
Yes, exactly that. But getting ready there in the pit lane, the 95 seated ready on the wets. Is it still raining outside?
It looks like it stopped.
It does look like it stopped, or if it's very, very fine, doesn't it?
Yes.
So, yes, we did go through the grid a little earlier. Let's go for a little recap, though, as it's only a small one, and yeah, we can go through this one. The 95, Matthew Easton, starting on pole position alongside Ben Davis on the front row. Colin Davis and Oliver Appleby on the second row, the 71 and 34. Then it's Chris Thomas on the third row with Lewis Large. And then Henry Ayres rounding out the grid of 7 karts on the fourth row, the number 29. There you can see the 34 of Oliver Appleby, JMS karting, getting that car off the dolly with those now wet tyres on. But again, it's always a tricky moment this way, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone rushing to try and get those tyres on.
With a full grid, it's even worse.
Yeah, imagine if it was 30 karts in there. I could imagine that's absolute pandemonium, but it's lucky that it's only the 7 karts that we've got in this one here. Of course, the next race, the senior Rotax after this, is a very busy grid, but they've all got the time to choose now. They've got the time to see what happens in this race. You know, are these drivers going to actually dry the track out before the senior Rotax race? It's going to make it a really tough call, and we could see some excellent calls, or we could see some dismal calls to see what happens. But yeah, we'll see what happens later on. But all eyes right now on the Rotax 177. I'm being told that the 29 KR Sport Henry Ayres there is staying on the slicks. Apparently, one of our cameramen is saying that's the right choice. Now, I can't see what the track looks like from here. It looks
different.
It looks wet, but whether or not it is, they're heading out on circuit now.
We'll see how he performs on the outlap.
Yes, I think that's a good way of putting it there. There's the grid again up on the screen. The last couple of races on the day. Well, that looked very sideways, didn't it, on the wet tyres there.
Just warming up the tyres.
Yeah, it's just getting them warm. 29 though on the slicks. Curious to see how well he does. Can't go backwards anymore, so it can only go forwards.
True.
Starting at the back of the grid, so we'll have to see as they go through. Well, he is that if that's him all the way back there, that's
I think it is.
That's an indication of maybe it is a bit slick on those slicks.
It's a bit slick on the slicks.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, but Henry Ayres will definitely be aiming for a top 10 in this race.
I think they're all aiming for a top 10 in this race.
I think that is realistic.
There we go. But yeah. Doesn't look like Henry's there actually. There he is.
There he is.
Are we going to go this time around? It looks
Yes,
like we
will.
are. Green flag is out for the Rotax 177. All these drivers here are on the wet tyres. The one driver who's in the background who hasn't really accelerated off is on the slicks as they go through. I think the wets was the right call as they head round dogleg very gingerly and slowly as they all try to jostle their way through. Look at that. That was the 71 or the 13? Was that Louis Large that was just adjusting his way through the entire grid there, the entire order? That was an excellent little spot there as they all slowly get round this first lap. The rain isn't coming down, and it's not going up either. But, as they head through the Dunlop chicane, again onto the back straight now. Leading the way still. Nice open gap. 57 at the 56. Chris Thomas at the back of this grid there, the 34. Oliver Appleby down one spot. There, just behind as they cross the line.
Yep.
Let's see what they do. Matthew Easton leading the way from Lewis Large. Who was up 4 places, obviously, after everyone was going so slow. He thought, no, I'm just going to barge my way through and go through. Yeah, there you go. That's what it is. Up 4 positions for Coles Racing. Ben Davis in 3rd. Colin Davis in 4th place. Oliver Appleby in 5th. Chris Thomas in 6th and just crossing the line now. Henry Ayres in 7th place for KR Sports. His lap time significantly longer than the other drivers out there who are on the wet tyres.
Yeah, as you said, the track's not getting any drier, but as you can see on the cameras, it's not raining anymore. Drivers throughout the field trying to make a couple of overtakes. Louis Large, as we know, he missed the last pre-final, so that does mean that he had to start from the back. The number 13 is already on the back of Matthew Easton in the lead, though. Will he be able to make a move anytime soon as he goes up the inside into the final corner of Paddock Bend, and he goes down the straight of the Comrade Straight, and he is in the lead. So Louis Large from last to first in 2 laps. Yep,
Very nicely done. It just seems like he was on the pace there, comfortable with the tyres, comfortable with the track conditions, and just thought, yeah, you know, let's go for it, and gets to, like I say, back to the front in no time at all. And as they jostle through again, just staying in position there now, aren't they? So fastest lap of the race is Louis Large with that 1:04.44. 22 seconds, 0.0 in the first sector compared to a 22.5 from second place. So there we go, straight away, half a second faster through the first sector, and is already up nearly 0.6 of a second from second place of Matthew Easton. So they always seem to give these drivers the hardest race conditions, don't they? With the, oh, is the track dry? Yeah, is it not? And you know, they had it earlier on in their pre-finals, they've had it again in this one, but luckily most of the entire grid made it out to the track this time, and we definitely saw enough go through. So through into turn 1, 11.5 minutes remaining on the clock, 3 laps completed on lap 4. Leading the way is Louis Large, as you can see on the screen there, fastest lap of the race, 1:01.270. So a 1:01 is still actually a fairly fast lap despite the conditions. So yes, even though it is greasy out there, they're still putting in some quick times. Yeah,
Louis Large setting 1:01, which is a pretty quick time. It's because it's not still currently raining, which means that the conditions aren't treacherous, they're not horrendous, but they're still dealable, but not good enough for the slicks. As you can see at the back, we have Henry are still on the slicks, and I think he's only completed 2 laps. But Louis Large out in the lead, only by 2/10 now. So the drivers behind Matthew Easton and Ben Davis are catching on to the back of him.
Yeah, I think they've realised that actually, you know what, it's quite grippy. Let's go for it. Let's close that gap. They're still, again, taking that wider line that still looks fairly dry out there. There's the 29 on the slicks. And here's KR Sports. Let's just keep an eye on his lap times. Last lap time was a 1:13. Fastest lap of the race actually goes Ben Davis, 59.0. So already sub 1 minute. So maybe the slicks are going to come into their own before the end of this race. And with 10 minutes left to go, he's only got 35 seconds to gain. And slick tyres and wet tyres on a dry track, there's a big difference. That's very doable, I would have thought.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Henriez sets on his lap time. It does still look like Louis Large, yeah, the drivers on the wets are catching up to the back of Henriez very quickly. And it looks like there's a bit of battling going on between the 95 and the 86, which Ben Davis has been able to get into second position. So Matthew Easton now in third, chasing down the leader from the back of the pack, I could say, because there's only these three. But also Louis Large, that gives him a bit of a bigger gap, so I'm pretty sure he'll be feeling a bit more comfortable now. Yeah,
definitely so. A good way of putting it. 9.5 minutes left on the clock. Best lap, though, is Chris Thomas, the 56, 58.390. So into the 58 seconds now on the wets. And, of course, very quick time on the wets. Henriez, his last time around was a 101.1. So, and there's someone going straight over the track. Well, that's one way to gain time quickly, and that's just to miss the chicane. So, who was that? Was that Oliver Appleby in the 34? I think it was. I think he may have to give him a few seconds on that one. As he completely, don't know what happened there, if the kart snapped and just went straight over. But, funny how Henriez just set the fastest lap of the race, 56.3. There we go. Those slick tyres are coming into their own
2
here.
seconds quicker a lap.
Yep.
So with 8 minutes left, it looks like Henriez is still might be able to get a podium. It'll be a stretch for the win, but I'm pretty sure he'll be gunning for it.
Well, let's see what happens. Yeah, 8.5 minutes to go. It was a gap of 37 seconds the last lap around. It's now just 24 seconds. He's gaining at quite a large rate of knots. I think if it doesn't take much to get past everyone, it might be, in for a shot here. Fastest man on the circuit by a fair chunk as they go through. But let's just see what happens. Back here at the front, though, still Louis Large, Ben Davis, and Matthew Easton. Easton all over the back of Davis as they go through the horseshoe. And Henriez again, another fastest lap of the race, 53.7.
5 seconds quicker.
5 seconds a lap quicker. That gap's now just 19 seconds from the sixth place driver. So, a big oversteer moment there from the 95 of Matthew Easton. That's allowed Oliver Appleby to get past up into third place. And, of course, now all these drivers starting to realise how quick it is out there. And, there you go. This man as well, Henriez, is slowly closing that gap in. If you think they were only going through, they're going through the Senna S's now. He's coming onto the start-finish line, over the finish line now. So, feels like a bit of time that he's got to gain. But, again, anything's possible. 7 minutes left on the clock. Still a lot of time. As our race leaders now come through the gasworks bend as they head through again. Henriez again, 52.970. Fastest time of the race, much faster. And just 12 seconds now to the gap between himself and Colin Davis, the 71 in sixth place. Down the inside there goes Oliver Appleby. And moves up into first place. A good move there. Looks like he's on the pace as well. Lapping a little bit faster as well. Trying to open that gap up. It's all eyes at the moment on the 29 to see how many positions can be gained. 6.5 minutes left on the clock. Looking at the sector times, well over a second faster than anyone else through sector 1. 3 seconds faster through sector 2, and 3 seconds faster through sector 3. So, looking at 6 seconds a lap faster. That gap's only 7 seconds now from the 71. Another 52.750 from Henriez. It's a bit nail-biting to see how much he can gain, isn't it?
Well, by my calculations, he will be able to catch the leaders, but it'll be right at the end of the race. But obviously, the more the track dries, the more he's going to get quicker, and the slower these guys. Oh, and that's a rear wheel coming off.
And who's that? That's the 71. That's Colin Davis. So that's made that overtake for Henriez very easy, but a disaster for the 71 there of Colin Davis out of nowhere. But that rear wheel just saying no, really. It's had enough and decided to go on its merry way. So that's a disaster there for the 71, and that will be a retirement. I don't think you could push that kart along for the rest of the race. Yeah, Oliver Appleby then leading the way from Lewis Large, and then Matthew Easton, Ben Davis, Chris Thompson, and Henry Ayres. They're now down to 6 drivers, 5 minutes remaining, not 5 laps remaining. As they head through round the final corner. Let's see the gap now. What is the gap between Henry Ayres and Chris Thomas? That gap is 16 seconds. 4.5 minutes left to go, but again, all eyes watching this front group as they go through. Still very close action in this mid-pack. What must you be thinking if you're Henry? You know, you've made that right choice. You've stayed on the slicks, and it's worked out for you. And you know you're catching these drivers at a fast rate of knots. You must be thinking, just concentrate, concentrate.
Yeah, you'd be concentrating, but I'd be scared for my rear wheel, because we've seen quite a few drivers today have their rear wheel spitting off the kart.
Stay off the curbs.
Stay off the curbs, yeah, easy as that. But we've had many drivers. And that's the 54 going for a move. Was it the 34? 95 jumping over the grass. That is Matthew Easton having a jump over the grass. And it is still the Coles car in the lead, which is Louis Large now in the lead, sorry. No, sorry, Oliver Appleby is in the lead. But yeah, Henry Ayres on the slick tyres compared to everyone on the wets. Colin Davies is out of this race, as we saw his rear wheel come spitting off the kart and him go flying into the barriers. But now Henry Ayres is chasing down the next driver ahead, which is going to be Chris Thomas.
Yes, he is indeed. Now that gap was 16 seconds last lap, just 11 seconds this time, so he's taken 5 seconds off them this time around. 3.5 minutes left to go. It seems like a very tall order, but he's definitely going to have fastest lap of the race for sure. As they go through, the sun bursting out from behind the clouds again. This weather doesn't want to make its mind up, does it, today here at Warden Law? It's been an absolute nightmare for teams to guess what to actually go on out on circuit, but 3 minutes left on the clock. Oliver Appleby leading the way now by just under 5 seconds. Still action at the front of the pack. Louis Large, Matthew Easton and Ben Davis still squabbling for position. We've got second, third and fourth and fifth here. Ben Davis has managed to close up to the back. Where is that actually? Yes, it is. Ben Davis has managed to close up to the back. Henry Ayres again, another fastest lap of the race. 51.761, or 610, I should say. I messed that number up completely. 2.5 minutes left on the clock as the rest of the field go through. Daniel Racing there, you can see, just in 4th place with Ben Davis. Chris Thompson just behind as well for JMS Karting. So Henry Ayres is catching up very closely to the back of this pack. He is only just 3 seconds behind this pack. So actually, this is could be quite close. 2 minutes left on the clock. You can see now it's just one corner between them. They're on the same start-finish straight. Oliver Appleby has managed to break away and clear off. So I think he's going to be quite secure there in his first place slot. But it's whether or not Henry Ayres can get that second place spot on the podium. You can see him there in the background now, closing in on this group. With them all sliding around on super overheated tyres and much better traction out of the corner. Right behind, down the inside. Thank you very much. That's 1 done. Can we get another one round the outside? Yes, we can. That's 2 done. So Henry Ayres now up into P4 and demotes Ben Davis and Chris Thomas down. Now it's 3rd and 2nd place on the list. I'm sure there's a massive smile on the face of Henry Ayres underneath that helmet that we just can't see. Here we go then on the back of Louis Large. Thank you very much. That wasn't very long. That didn't take long. Now, here we go. Slick tyres versus wet round the final corner. Can't quite do it there. Has to stay behind, but I'm sure he's going to get a much better exit out of the final corner across the start-finish line. Takes 2nd place across the line. Nicely done. Now, with 1 minute left to go, do you reckon it's possible to actually catch now Oliver Appleby with these conditions? I think, it's only a 5-second gap, and if he's closing in 5 seconds a lap on the others, can he close 5 seconds a lap this time? There's 50 seconds on the clock, so Oliver Appleby's going to cross the line and start the, he's going to start the penultimate lap this time around. So has he got enough time? I feel like he may do. I'm curious to see how far Oliver Appleby is up the road. The gap is now only 3 seconds. I reckon he's got this in the bag. There's Oliver Appleby. Where is Henry Ayres? There he is, with the last lap board not coming out this time. I think the right call for this race, despite the fact that it was incredibly slippery at the start of this. He tucks in to the steering wheel to try and gain anything he can. 13 seconds on the clock. The last lap board will come out this time around, but with a gap of only 2.2 seconds. That is going to dissipate very, very quickly with the different tyre compounds that are on. We've got the wet tyres in the lead of Oliver Appleby, and Henry Ayres on the slick tyres, absolutely dominating here. So much faster, 3 seconds a lap faster than the man in first place, and now he's right behind him on his tail. Is Oliver going to be able to defend this? I don't think he can, as they head up the back straight now in towards Gasworks Bend. Round the outside through this corner. No, can't quite do that. Despite the fact he's got slick tyres, he can't quite go around the outside. And that's now caused them a bit of a gap to close up again. But again, shouldn't take too long. Round the final corner. Gets that move there on the inside line. Again, stays behind. Massive defence from Oliver Appleby. Final lap now board is out. This is going to be massive pressure on Oliver Appleby, who is on those probably destroyed wet compound tyres, defending against the KR Sport Kart that has got slick tyres on from the word go. Started at the back and has made his way all the way through the field. He's got the inside line here as they go into the centre res, and that looks like job done there for Henry Ayres, who's gone from the back of the field to the front. We didn't think it was going to be possible, but he's managed to make it so. On the final lap, Henry Ayres has taken the lead then through the centre res on the slick tyres. It was a bold call at the start. We saw it earlier on today. It didn't work out earlier for someone going on the slick tyres on a greasy, slippery circuit, but it's worked out this time around with the track drying out very quickly round the final corner on the last lap. Henry Ayres is going to take the checkered flag, and as you can imagine, he's going to be absolutely delighted with that decision from himself and the team to stick on the slick tyres. Oliver Appleby crosses in second place, and Matthew Easton crosses third. Louis Large is going to cross in fourth place. Chris Thomas crossing in fifth place. Ben Davis crossing in sixth. And Colin Davis unfortunately lost a rear wheel earlier on in the race. Finishes in seventh, or it's a DNF really, or more than anything with 9 laps. But there we go. That just shows that despite the rain coming down, it was still safe to stay on the slick tyres. And I'm going to say that's going to make the decision for the next race. The teams there, well, it's definitely slick tyres, isn't it? There's the results then on your screen. Henry Ayres there with a fantastic recovery drive there, and gaining a 2.3 second advantage over just, again, half a lap. So, again, it just shows that slick tyres decisions can be made, and despite the fact that you're starting at the back, there's the tyres that you can see in the pit lane. Absolutely destroyed there, those wet compounds. There is the stricken 71 kart. Colin Davis, the privateer, running the Cosmic chassis. But yes, that's spot the difference. What's missing on the back? Yes, that rear wheel. So, massive shame for Colin there at the end of that race, but as commiserations for one, huge congratulations for another. But Henry Ayres, the 29, absolutely fantastic, getting the win for the final, something that probably he didn't expect, anyone else expect, or even myself to expect, but it did indeed happen, and that's why you have to love karting in that aspect of those decisions of getting the race down to the end. So hopefully we'll have a very happy chat with our race winner in just a moment down in the pit lane. Kai again, he's run down to the area, and he will have a chat with them in just a moment. So rain holding off then. We've had no more showers, so it's looking like it's all good to go. Right, I believe Kai is down in the pit lane area. Kai, have you got a very happy Henry Ayres?
So Henry, an absolutely amazing drive. 35 seconds at the start to the driver ahead, and almost 20 seconds a lap slower than the other drivers, but managed to pull it back, managed to get the win. Just tell me how.
Well, it was a bit of a risky strategy. Our awning's at the other end of the paddock, so we had no choice but to go slicks. So we knew it was going to be difficult from the start, seeing how saturated the track was. So I knew at the start I just needed to stay on the road and then hope that it dries, and it did in the end, and then just pushed as hard as we could, and ended up doing that. So.
Yeah, talking about the risky strategy, who made the decision? You or the mechanics or the team?
I think it was my decision really. Well, my mechanic got the wets 3 minutes before the race, and I thought we're not going to get them on time, so let's just try it out, see what happens, and then, well, ended up winning, so it's a good result.
Well, absolutely amazing drive, Henry. Congratulations, and I don't know how you did it.
Final podium of the day. Maybe the smallest grid, but I think a surprise in the final with the scrambling of tyres. And all of our trophies are on the podium. So we'll start with third place, the best privateer. And third place, use a round of applause, please, for the 95, Matthew Easton. There you go. You've got to pick your trophies up. Come on, you've got the photos. There you go. Good man, good man. Second place then on the grid. Again, another one taking 2 trophies home here for best rookie. And for second place overall for JMS Karting. Round of applause, please, for Oliver Appleby. Excellent. And then finally, our surprise race winner through sheer strategy or laziness. We're not quite sure which one it was for not changing the tyres, but for sticking to the slicks. A round of applause, please, for KR Sports, number 29, Henry Ayres. Excellent, Henry. Again, that was an interesting race. I wasn't expecting it from my angle as well. You started the race on the slick tyres, of course. The rain came down. No change was made. The rest of the team, the rest of the karts went onto the wets. It paid off, though, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it was a tough race, but I didn't give up. So I just kept it on the road, and it got more grippier. And then yeah, I felt like I could have done it, and then I ended up doing it. So
watching it from the back, it was counting the seconds. I was trying to work it out, do the maths, and trying to figure it out. And like in the end, you messed my maths up. You got it done. And who is the man responsible for not bringing the tyres?
I'd say it's a mix, but we got to, well, the tyres were there with 2 minutes to go, and we knew we couldn't change them. So we just decided to put the kart down and just go for it.
It paid off, so I think everyone deserves a beer in that one. But yeah, cracking stuff. Well done. Your podium for Rotax 177.